Hey guys, Alan here. Bible moment. Going to be a nice kind of a short one this morning. I'm not sure exactly how I came up with such a short one, but we've been talking down the lines, of course, as far as what the Bible is to us. And we've talked about what Jesus is to us, how he's our Lord, our peace, our forgiveness, our guardian, our fulfillment. He's all of those things and much, much more. He's everything to us. Then we've talked about the Bible and how it's the infallible authority, and it's our guide for life. It's our playbook, right? And we've talked about, what do we do when we're tempted, or we're angry, or we have fear within our lives? What do we do when we need courage in our life? I want to ask a question today, though. The question I really have today is, are you waiting on God? Am I waiting on God? Waiting is something that it's a hard thing to do. I don't like to wait. I'm kind of, as I've been thinking about this last couple of days, especially, I've been looking at the life of David some. And, David, he's a teenage boy. We see him out in the fields taking care of his dad's sheep. And then we see the fact that Samuel comes and anoints him to be the next king of Israel. He's just a teenager at this particular point. His brothers, of course, all thought that should be their privilege, but it wasn't. It was his. And we see that he didn't become king right away, did he? We see the fact that he's still out in his shepherd's fields taking care of his dad's sheep. We see that his brothers go off to war. And then we see that the fact of how that he goes out to see the brothers, and things start changing at that point. He goes out to the war effort to take food to his brothers, and that's where he runs across Goliath. And Goliath is what pushes him into the fame finally, and into the fact of becoming king. But notice, David had to wait years and years for this to occur. So I'm looking more at the book of Psalms than anything, because David was an absolute great person when it came down to waiting. In Psalms 27:14, it says, wait on the Lord, wait upon the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. See, timing is absolutely everything. Timing was absolutely everything with David. And timing is absolutely everything with us. God puts something in our life as far as a dream, a passion, a direction. And a lot of times it doesn't happen right away. It's going to happen, though, in God's timing. And again, in the book of Psalms 62:5, he says, my soul, wait thou only upon God. It's kind of interesting the way he puts it. He says, wait thou only upon God. He doesn't say wait on other people. He says, wait on God's timing. Wait on God's timing. And then he goes on, I'll read the entire verse. He says, my soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. My direction's from him. The steps we take, it's from him. And I don't think we could talk about waiting without going into the book of Isaiah, to the famous verse of Isaiah 40:31, where he says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. See, it's all in God's timing. In Habakkuk 2:3, he says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Wow. It's for an appointed time. God has a time. He has a time frame. He has a timeline. You ever do a timeline in school? He has a timeline. And he goes on and it says, but at the end it shall speak, and not a lie. Though it tarry, he says, that's waiting for a long period of time. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It's going to come in God's timing. I know that through the business and even in my personal life, there's been some things where I've waited on God for a few years. And now I'm actually seeing some of those things come around and come about. It's incredible. Going back to Psalms, as I say, a lot from David because of kind of the way that I've thought about it this week. In Psalms 145:15, he says, the eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them thy meat. And then he says, in due season, the right time, the right place, the time when it can have the best impact. And he goes on in verse 16, and he says, thou openest thy hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. God opens his hand in generosity to us, doesn't he? Staying in Psalms here in 130, the 130th Psalm, verse 5, he says, I wait for the Lord. My soul doth wait, and in his word do I hope. So we rely on what God has told us through the Bible. We rely on that vision that God has given us deep down in our soul. The direction he's given us. We wait on it. He says, and in his word do I hope. So he says, waiting on the Lord, my soul doth wait. That's what we have to do. I'm going to wrap it up. Told you it would be nice and short this morning. In Hebrews, I'm going to end up with, in the 3rd chapter, verse 14. For we are made partakers of Christ if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. See, we have to persevere here. We have to see it through. We have to wait on God's timing. Hey, thanks for being with me, and I appreciate it this morning, and we will catch up just a little bit later.